Too many people in the social enterprise space firmly believe that you have to either compromise your financials or your mission in order to have a successful social enterprise. The problem with this approach is that ultimately you don't get either. We at TDI are uncompromising about the fact that we want market rate returns on the investment side and great financials. And we want a mission where you can clearly demonstrate that you're making a positive impact for people and the planet. Bessi, how do we go about that?
So I think the most important aspect is that, we often talk about the notion of blended value, as you said, being uncompromising and, sticking to our guns on that point, that it is possible to have both. But for us, what tends to happen is for a lot of people, they start designing either a business or a business plan often, which is even worse, and they then come to us and kind of say, can you scale this or can you make that sustainable? For us, it's really important that you are designing and from the beginning for a business that can deliver both these things. If it's left too late, it's not actually possible and you end up having to go back to the beginning. And so for us, we see time and again organisations who have spent time and money, whether their own money or a funder's money, on working on a business that ultimately we could have said to them from the beginning needed to be dramatically changed and designed differently. So it's that design principle of blended value, and it's about the timing of when that starts to influence the kind of business you build.
So if social enterprise is on about both mission and money, what is it about TDI's method of approaching it from blended value that really helps make sure that both of those things happen? Because I assume there's risk in producing any kind of entity. Is there more risk when it comes to trying to produce a social enterprise?
So I think there's a few things. If you look at, often when we're talking to investors, we say that if you have a social enterprise where you have this passionate management team that are really capable, have a track record, and are willing to be held accountable for the social and financial returns they're generating, then you actually have the chance, we can't guarantee it, but there is a chance that it's less risky than investing in a standard organisation. Because if there's one thing that those of us in the social sector are proof of, it's that we are determined and passionate about what we do, and where someone else might drop the thing and say, this isn't working, I'm going to move on or get a job somewhere else, we're going to stick at it and we're going to make this thing work. So there is a chance of these things being less risky because of that passion of the people involved. But again, it comes down to the mindset, the way they think and the kind of business they're actually building as to whether it's more or less risky. There are a number of things around method. So you said, what's TDI's method? We have, for a number of years now, not just jumped straight into someone's business model, but teased apart the intent, which is where we capture that mission side, and said, looking at intent and really articulating why we're doing this speaks to that beneficiary group. It speaks to the mission of the organisation. But when we get into the business model canvas itself, looking at how this business operates, we don't muddle up customer and beneficiary. We're very clear about what drives a customer to engage with this business in a way that actually generates revenue. So that kind of method and the really rigorous approach to making sure both of these things are catered for well does de-risk that investment.
So at TDI, we firmly believe we're starting with the end in mind. And if your goal is a social enterprise that has great financials and a great mission, then start with that as a design premise. Really build your enterprise to have that outcome now. Because if you do, you can create an amazing enterprise, delivering both social and financial returns.